happy Friday. It is another Mavens of Manufacturing Day, and we're doing things a little bit different because I had a cancellation and Cathy is showing up for me so that we can have a fun conversation. So I believe I shared out the link last week and part of this week. So if you didn't get that, I'm going to put it in the comments section right now and send it out to you guys. So if you have a question for Cathy, please click on that link, join us. If you're camera shy, no worries. You can drop your question in the comments section. But Cathy, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm good. It's Friday, so I'm super excited that I don't have to work tomorrow, and I'm going to get my kids after not seeing them for a full week. So I'm super excited to go
That'd be
pick them up
awesome.
and hug them.
And I'm
Yeah.
happy to
So
be able to be filler for you today.
yes, thank you so much. So you mentioned a lot of stuff on your post, but I did get a few questions this morning from Hank Priam, and I'm so
Oh, the
super
junior board of
excited.
directors.
The junior board of directors have school today, so they're not going to be joining us, unfortunately. But Hank did do some videos with them. So we're going to do Peyton first.
Oh,
And
excellent.
I can't figure out how to get this set up where it's not going to cover our faces, but it's going to cover our faces. So we'll just
That's
bring
fine.
Peyton in first, have her ask her question, and then we'll bring Aiden in next. So here's Peyton.
Hi,
Okay.
Megan. Hi, Cathy. I have a question for you. What's the coolest machine you've ever worked with?
Oh, wow. That's a really hard question because pretty much all the equipment that I have the opportunity to work with is super cool. I have to say that I think one of the most awesome things we do is our robotic box erector. And
Okay.
why I think it's cool is because it's designed to help a lot of people that wouldn't ordinarily maybe be able to have that kind of automation in their plant. Our box erector fits in a very small footprint. It can fold multiple box sizes, multiple box types, all from a single pick point. And so small to mid-sized manufacturers that maybe don't have the space for a traditional case erector, or they're building a lot of different box sizes and they can't have multiple case erectors, it's the perfect fit for them. So I would really say that that is one of the coolest things because I get to see it fold everything from really tiny boxes to really great big boxes. So it's super cool.
I think that sounds, and I haven't worked on any machines because I'm just a writer. I just get to see them do really cool things. So I like them all. But Peyton, that was a really good question. And Hank just tuned in. Hi guys, this will be fun.
Hi,
And then
Hank.
Lauren said that was a great question. So let me pull
Lauren
up.
and a group of people are in the conference room getting ready to try to heckle me and, throw me off guard a little bit. So I'm up for the challenge.
Well, I'm looking forward to that because I love good hecklers.
Me too.
See your shoes, but okay. So here's Aiden. She's also part of the junior board of directors.
Hi, Megan. Hi, Cathy. Cathy, what's your favorite kind of robot? Hi, Megan. Hi, Cathy.
I'm actually robot agnostic. I love them all, but we have a great relationship. We are CSIs. The guys over at Staubli have been really good to us. The guys at KUKA, we are also KUKA partners. I love all robots. I am super excited about the Neura robots. And even though we aren't officially affiliated with them, they're the first cognitive robots. I saw them at Automate. I thought it was super cool. I'm just so excited about all of the new technology. UR is partnering up with NVIDIA. AI is going to really change, I think, the scenery for all of us. And to answer the question, I love them all.
I just was at the robotics summit and conference in Boston, and I'd never heard of it before until that conference. And it is interesting stuff. And the owner seems like a really cool guy. I know they're from Germany, right?
Yes.
So definitely looking forward to that.
If
what do you think?
Looked at that, you should take a look at it. It's like the first, what they say is cognitive robot, and you talk to it kind of like you would talk to Alexa or Siri. and she writes her own code as you're instructing her verbally. So she's cognitive in that she listens and she sees. She's got some great optics built right in to the arm, and she feels. She's collaborative. So super cool stuff coming. Exciting time to be in this industry. Really.
Now, is their intention to be more in the home, or are they doing like home and like workplace?
I really can't answer that question. What they had at the show was really more in the workplace, obviously.
It looks like
I don't know if they're doing anything for personal use or not, but I mean, I see the technology really going to come in and innovate how we work with robots. The collaboratives were the first step in that and really changed the relationship that humans had with robots. And I feel like AI is gonna, kick that up a notch. We've been dating with the collaboratives. We're going to be going steady, pretty soon with AI. We're going to be a lot more intimate than we've been in our relationships up to now. So it's super exciting.
Yeah. What do you think about humanoids? Because I know that there's some people who are just like, I actually went and listened into a keynote, and the girl's like, I just don't want to talk about that shit. Like, I just don't care. Like, she just did not want to talk about humanoids. So what are your thoughts on that?
I'm like, right at the time that I can remember going to the first Star Wars movie, when it was very first in the theater. So, I guess the idea of humanoids really doesn't freak me out. I know a lot of people think it's creepy. I really don't know. I mean, there's a lot to overcome before that's really going to have an everyday place. I think it's super cool technology. I think I've watched a lot of keynotes on it. We're seeing advancement like crazy in the way that hands can pick up and manipulate things. And I think that it's coming, ready or not. I'm not creeped out by it because, I grew up with R2D2 and C3PO and it's not that creepy to me.
So I'm not creeped out by those types of humanoids. I'm creeped out by the ones that actually look like humans. I don't know what it is in my brain. That's creepy. But
does Star Trek have some of that?
Yeah, it creeps me out. And what is that stupid horror movie, Megan? That Megan movie that came out where she's like she's created to help babysit the girl, and then everybody that bullied the girl. And I just am like, this is dumb. Like, it shouldn't be that type that creeps me out. So then, like, the ones that look like animals, I'm like, oh, that's so cute. I want one. But anything that looks like a human,
super creeped out by those. She saw there was something going around LinkedIn where they had like put the dog costume on that, and she was just like, oh my gosh, can you see this? This is so creepy. I mean, I've sat in a lot of conferences and stuff and really looked at like all of the science and engineering that's going into all of the different sensors that it takes to like move hands. And so I guess when I look at it, I'm not really looking at it as a whole, but more of as a sum of parts. Right.
Yeah.
And so, and I'm just fascinated. I'm fascinated by how far things are advancing technologically in my career span of 40 years. I mean, I'm so old that a calculator cost like $700. When I was a kid, they were like, I can remember seeing them at Sears, right? And it was like $700 for this calculator. It was the coolest technology ever. Oh my gosh! Yeah. I mean, where we've come from here, right? It's and where are we going? It's going to be so exciting going forward.
I'm looking forward to it, but I just got to get over the human looking ones because I'm just like, that's so creepy. Like, I never was a fan of Data in Star Trek. I was not, because he just was weird to me. We have Carl on. As long as factory floors are flat, why does my robot need legs? Wheels will work.
Well, that's probably a great question, Carl, and I can't answer it because I tend to agree. I'm of the, if it's not broken, why fix it? But I don't know that they're developing them strictly for that application, our plant applications. I really don't know where the technology is going, but I'm here for it, right?
Right.
I'm here for it. I'm so excited to see what the future is going to bring, and so
Yeah.
if they make one of them that can pick up bales and feed horses or clean stalls, I'm probably going to get one. I'm not going to lie. I mean,
Right.
whether it's creepy or not, if it makes my life better and they can show me ways that it can make my life better, I'm going to be on board for it.
Yeah. My reference that I always go back to is the movie Back to the Future. I always try to see, okay, is this technology close to being created? And my camera's acting weird today. Is this technology close to being created? And like, how close are we to flying cars? So I always go back to that movie to see how long it's been since we actually.
Rosie Jetson,
Yeah.
and it's so cool because, I watched the Jetsons as a kid, as probably a lot of you out there have. And to see, well, one, telehealth. Whoever thought that was going to be a real thing? I mean, there's just been so much in my career and in my lifetime that I thought would never come to fruition, that I'm going to be the last person to say, oh, well, that's never going to go anywhere, or that's never going to be adopted into the mainstream, because I've seen so many things that have, and I use a lot of them. So, it's a great time to be in our industry specifically, because I think we really are on the cutting edge of the next industrial revolution. And I know that sounds kind of cliche, but I mean, I really think we are. And if you don't believe me, go to Automate, attend an A3 event, go to Pack Expo, go to IMTS, go to any of the trade shows, and just take a look at what technology is out there and the number of problems that we can solve now. Not only quickly, efficiently, but inexpensively. So I think our industry is doing great things.
I do too. We do have someone in the waiting room, Kayla.
Oh, Kayla.
Her device is not connected though, so I can't pull her in. Kayla, your device isn't connected. Once it does get connected, I will try to pull you in.
Or Kayla, you could walk into my office and lean over the back of my chair if we want to go old school.
Yeah, that works as well too. This is why I love doing this stuff, because I think it's fun and authentic. Lauren said, I hate Spot. Spot is creepy.
She does hate Spot.
And I think it's so cute. Like, I don't know what's wrong with my brain. Like, I'm just like,
you guys just need to look at it and think about all of the sensors and all of the different things, and just see it as that sum of parts, and what a feat of engineering it is, and that's what I see when I see it. Am I going to have a Spot? Probably I'm not, but I mean, I can see where it's so useful. Like if we had another catastrophic event like the World Trade Center, you guys all know I love dogs. I mean, if I could send Spot in there, and if Spot gets crushed, Spot's not going to get cancer from, asbestos. I mean, there's just so many places where robotics can take the place of humans and animals, and be a safer, more consistent alternative. So, I mean, I'm 100% team Spot. Sorry, Lauren. Not sorry, Lauren.
And then we have Becca, who said, agree, the humanoid robots are very much uncanny valley materials. And then Hank goes, yeah, I'd get a barn cleaning robot.
Wouldn't we all, Hank? I mean, that's my dream. And actually, I've seen some of them. I know the dairy industry is adopting some barn cleaning robots. And I think, again, that's really cool technology. But then, I really think some of the technology that is coming into agriculture nowadays is really, kind of on the same level as what we're seeing in manufacturing. And I think that's kind of cool myself, coming from an agricultural and manufacturing automation world, seeing those worlds collide is really cool.
Yeah, well, and if people are finding it hard to even get workers to come in and help with some of that stuff too, like it's a necessity. We can't not have our farms. Like we have to have that. around. Another cool area is construction. They had someone come in and they build these large automation robotics where it does the ties for the bridges. And so it like can do double or triple the work compared to like 3 or 4 men. And they're just having a hard time finding people to come into this construction arena. So while
Right.
this robot is tying all of the cords and stuff, the workers that are present can actually do other things. And it just, I started laughing because I remember going by some like construction places, and there always seemed to be like 3 or 4 people just standing around not doing anything and like supervising things. So it was just a really interesting.
Well, I was at a conference and one of the keynotes actually has started a company that does window washing. And I don't know about you guys, but I am really terribly afraid of heights. And when you're thinking about these guys up on the scaffolding way high on a building and the scaffolding breaks and there's all sorts of danger, well, they're doing it now with robotics, and it's super cool. And it took a lot of engineering and a lot of thought, because there are things that you have to consider when you're doing that work that obviously I'm not an expert at, because I don't even wash my own windows at home. So if anybody's got a home window washer you want to send my way, I'd be happy to try it out for you and give you a review. But it's just the technology. You're right. Coming into construction, coming into something like window washing. Is it replacing the guys that were the window washers? No, they're up on the roof and they're making sure that everything is working. I mean, it's just making their jobs better. And that's what automation should be doing when it's applied right. It should be making life better for all of us.
Right. Well, and how many window washers do you actually see? Like, there's not a lot. And
personally,
probably,
zero.
and they're probably, I mean, I've seen some in the cities and stuff, but even still, there's not a lot. And there's a lot of windows in
There's
city
a lot
buildings.
of
So
windows.
for people who are like, it's taking away our jobs, it really isn't. Like, let's stop talking about that.
Really not. Oh, Lauren wants a AGV. She really does. We talk about that a lot. I mean, every summer rite of passage is picking up square bales on the farm, right? And there is some technology, and we have it, and we try. We're not necessarily throwing every bale, but we always laugh that a AGV would be really an awesome addition. So I don't know. All you guys out there listening, I don't know. Mira, can you come up with a AGV or Staubli or Kuka or any of you guys that are building AGVs or AMRs? We need one for the hayfield.
Do you build anything out of the, like, because you're known for your conveyors and stuff, do you like test anything that you're making on like your farm and stuff and see if it works, like the stuff that you're creating for?
I've been kind of throwing posts out about Comau's Mate XT exoskeleton, and I was really, really thinking, oh, this is stupid when they brought it into to the meeting, and I'm sitting there, and the whole time I'm thinking, gosh, this is an hour I'll never get back of my life, right? and then it came time to put that unit on me. And oh my gosh, total game changer, because all of a sudden my posture was right and I had shoulder support. And yes, have you ever vacuumed cobwebs from your ceiling? It's brutal, right? Guess what makes that better? Mate XT. All sorts of stuff. Yeah, if we can use it on the farm, for sure we're going to use it on the farm. If we can use it around the business, for sure we're going to use it around the business. That I'm going to tell you, that exoskeleton, the Mate, if you guys have anybody that is doing like repetitive work, doing some overhead work, stuff like that, be kind.
I wonder if it would work for anybody who has RA, because that's what my mom has. She has really bad arthritis and she has to wear like a back brace. So I mean, maybe if you want to do a case study.
Well, Lauren, are you listening? We actually talked to the gentleman, and I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. Lauren probably can throw it up, just last week. And he's now helping us because we actually promote the Comau Mate full disclosure. I'm trying to sell mates, guys. If anybody wants one, full disclosure. But he's a physical therapist. And, that would be a really great question for him, because what we talked about, we had a meeting, I don't know if it was earlier this week or last week. And he was like, we really need to get the mate into the trades, right? And not just manufacturing, because, there's still some like riveting and stuff overhead, but a lot of that is automated now because, robots. But the trades that are still like hanging drywall, taping drywall, all of that. Oh my gosh. I worked in construction the summer after high school, and throwing shingles on the roof and doing all of that. And it's just like, I can think of so many things in the trades where this exoskeleton would just make their life so much better. And really, it's not that expensive. I mean, everybody just treats like safety like an afterthought, and everybody thinks, present me tells you, oh yeah, you don't need that, this is good. Well, let me tell you, future me, when you hit a certain age, slaps you in the face and says, hey, yesterday you should have thought a little more about your body. So, not only is doing things more ergonomically important, you just don't realize how much, because, you're invincible, you're young, you're this, you're that. And trust me, I get out of bed with enough aches and pains every day that I wish somebody would have shown me the mate, 60 years ago. Oh, Rodrigo. Okay, there you go.
If you guys can introduce me to him, I'd like to meet him, because I actually have a cousin who so he had a tumor on his brain, my cousin did, and he had to get it removed, and the surgery went well, but what ended up happening, because he was on whatever pain medication they were giving him, they didn't realize that he was having a stroke.
Oh no.
And he was like bleeding in his brain for like 7 hours. And then they finally found it. So he's wheelchair bound. He can't really communicate. He's communicating by typing on a keyboard, and then his mom will read what he types out. So I'm trying to get him connected with a company that can help with a communication system for him. But he's starting to walk a little bit. He's still not quite, he's there mentally, like he's still smart as a whip, but his body is just not. So he's doing a lot of work to like get moving again. So I'm really interested in finding like an exoskeleton company that might be able to help him with the walk.
Rodrigo, and see, because they're really looking for ways to expand their market, and we're looking for ways to expand that market because we really had a very narrow view of the product line. I'm guilty. I'll be the first to admit it, because I'm just thinking, so much of everything we do is industrial. And it's just like, well, we're leaving out a whole bunch of people that really would benefit from this technology. So anybody, if you know anybody in the trades, if anybody out there would like a demo of a Mate XT or the Mate XB, which is like a lower body, let Lauren know, or myself, and we'll try to get something scheduled for you, because
maybe
safety should not be an afterthought. Ergonomics should not be an afterthought. We did this whole ad campaign. It's not a luxury. I mean, you guys, tomorrow you will appreciate it if you take care of today you.
Yeah, maybe I'll come drive out there. We can do a demo of camera. Isaiah's in backstage, so Isaiah, I'm going to pull you up. Do you have a question, Isaiah? He's CEO of Ross Studios. Are you there?
He is, and Isaiah just happens to be our marketing intern this year, and we are so happy to have him here.
Does he want to ask a question, or are you just listening in? Maybe he's not there. Well, drop a comment.
We're having some technical difficulties in the other room.
So then we do have some comments though. Hank said, I sent a friend's son to a 3-year college program for robotics and automation. He was told they have 100% employment rate, averaging around $75,000 a year to start.
Yep.
I definitely should have went into robotics and not.
It's not too late, Megan. I mean, I'm pushing 60 and I'm learning something new every day, which is really what I love about my job. Lauren says, check out Ray's Robotics if you're looking for construction robots. So yeah, I mean, I don't think it's ever too late to make that change. Although Isaiah and Kayla are the youngsters that just came in, that have just joined our team, and just in chatting with them, it's been so much fun. And today we had a conversation about the fact that when we approached Kayla for a job, she thought, "Oh God, automation, manufacturing, ugh." This is just going to be the worst job ever. I'm going to be sitting at this desk. It's going to be boring. And I like to think that we are changing her opinion about that. And I think we all need to do a better job if we want to attract young people into our industry, that it's not stodgy, old, dirty, dangerous work, that it's really fun and it's exciting to solve problems, and it's exciting to get to work with all of this new technology. And think about it. When you go to Walmart or Target or the grocery store or anything we consume is processed in some way. It's manufactured. And when I can go to the grocery store, or even at the doctor's office the other day, I'm like, I see your Sandy wipes over there. Guess what? Been to their plant. I think that's just so cool, to have a role in that. And it really resonates with me, especially after COVID. We do a lot of paper conveyance, stuff like that, and people were hoarding toilet paper. Meanwhile, the toilet paper plant right across the river here was cranking out toilet paper like crazy. And I'm telling all my friends, don't be worried. We're still making, what's the problem here? It's just so cool to be a part of a process and to be able to go and see a tangible product and be like, oh, wow, I had a part in the making of this.
I think I 100% agree with that. Well, somebody from your company said, what are your playlists keeps you most motivated? Genre, single song, album.
Oh boy. Wow. If you guys follow my TikTok, you probably know that I have very diverse musical tastes. I like anything from the really old stuff to the really new stuff. And we just had a conversation about Modest Mouse. So you were probably
I'm going to their concert tomorrow.
You were probably really shocked that I knew who that was and could recite a song, right? Well, fun fact, when Lauren was younger and all the kids would come to our house, we had the Wii and we played a lot of Rock Band. And I was really a good drummer. I could drum on expert, back in the day. I know, right? Totally impressive. And that All Float On song was one of my favorite songs to drum to. But to answer the question of what's on my playlist, what isn't on my playlist? A little bit of this and a little bit of that. And what keeps me motivated is the fact that I am willing to listen to things that I think I might not like. I'm not like, this genre of music is out. This genre of music is out. I think a lot of people get tunnel vision. They get into something and they like it and they don't want to look outside of that. And I think what keeps me motivated and what keeps me in tune is the fact that I'm willing to listen to anything. I'm willing to give it a try. I'm willing to give something a second look, humanoid robots, willing to give them a second look. Yeah. I don't have a favorite song right now. I will say this. I am going to see the Eagles in Las Vegas with my sister, and we're doing the VIP experience, and I'm super excited about that. So, but also next month I'm going to see AJR. So both ends of the spectrum. Somebody's been playing for 52 years and somebody that's relatively new. So you know what? I'm probably going to be the person who you can share anything with, and I'll be like, oh, I like that. I'm adding it to my playlist.
Yeah, I really like the bands that are good lyrics. Like the lyrics have to mean something. I was watching a comedian the other day and he was talking about modern rap and he goes, they're mumbling. I don't understand anything that they're saying. And then he brought up Biggie, Notorious B.I.G. And he was like, he's timeless. Any genre, like any generation knows who Notorious B.I.G. is and they know his songs. And he's been dead for how long now? And I'm like,
I
I
think
love it.
music is so important to all of us because, I will make a LinkedIn post with a certain song and somebody will reach out and be like, oh, this was my go-to back in high school. I mean, nostalgia is a thing. And it's like,
Yeah.
it resonates. And so it takes you to a place. And so I think that's another part of why I like all generations of music, because I have such great memories of doing stuff. When we
Right.
first started the business, we used to play Bachman Turner Overdrive, taking care of business out in our shop all the time. When we were working, when we were on like our 70th 12-hour day in a row, and just things like that. It's just certain songs will take me to a certain point in my career. And today me likes to listen to everything because I'm always on the lookout for what is going to go into my next TikTok.
So there's a lot of questions coming up. What are your playlist things? Hold on. Lauren, you said I second Isaiah's question. Is it making this a hostile work environment? And I don't see.
Is what making a hostile work environment?
Oh, okay. As a young person, I wish I could say I hadn't felt that way. However, I've learned a great deal. What's the most challenging part of trying to get a younger person here? And maybe that's what I was saying.
Well,
Or
I
did I
think
miss something?
the hardest part of getting a young person here is because I think that their frame of thought around manufacturing is very limited. I mean, I don't know that we're doing a good enough job, one, explaining the importance of manufacturing, the importance of the people that work in manufacturing. And I tell everybody that all the time. It's like, without manufacturing, you would have nothing. Go back to COVID again, right? Oh, the shortages, all of that. Well, you know what? Thank you, manufacturing, for stepping up and working and keeping things moving. Thank you, transportation, for keeping the supply moving. A lot of people think, oh, manufacturing's not cool. Well, it kind of is. And it's, I think, getting to be more so every day because of all of the cool technology that's being brought into manufacturing. But I mean, personally, for me, I love making things. I love building things. I love solving problems. And that's what we do in our business. And so I think attracting new people is that we have to dispel the myths. We have to show them that we are not stodgy, old, crockety people.
I mean, some of us are.
Engineering can be fun. There are some engineers with a sense of humor.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, but I think you have to enjoy your job. You have to have enthusiasm, and then you share that with people. And it really is kind of like catching, when you have passion about what you do and you share that passion, it gets people's attention and they start to look at things differently. And I think manufacturing is such an important space. And there's so many roles to play in manufacturing and in manufacturing support. There's something for everyone. There really is. I mean, you can walk into our industry and find a job on any given day. And, if you have a willingness to learn and you have any aptitude at all, somebody's going to help you develop those skills, and probably on their dime. I mean, you can pretty much write your own ticket. And I think it's a great industry to work in. And we have to dispel the myths.
Yeah, I wish that was something I knew back in the day when I was applying for college, because I'd be in a lot less debt than I am today. I found the
part of our conversation this morning was the fact that, so much student debt, and you could go right into the trades or into a role in our industry without that, but schools, our local high school, guilty of it. Back when I was coming on, it was like, oh, well, Cathy, have you thought of a career in nursing? How would you like to be a teacher? you'd be an awesome secretary, or, maybe you could be a homemaker. And I'm not saying that those are not very important jobs, because they 100% are all
They
important
are.
jobs. That just didn't happen to be my passion. I think you need to work where your passion is, because if you don't like what you do, you have a long life ahead of you. This is my 40th year. My 40th year with FlexLine Automation. And I feel like I probably have more enthusiasm about my company, about my team, about my products, about my job today than I ever have. And you don't get that if you're working in a sector that you hate. So the first thing you need to do is love what you do and learn to laugh. That's the big key right there, because, I have days that my job is absolutely terrible. You have to learn to laugh. You can't take yourself so seriously. You have to find humor in situations that are not funny if you're going to survive in this world. And so, you don't have to have the debt. I think it's a great time to join manufacturing. It's a great time to join manufacturing support. And there's no better time to be in our industry than today, for sure.
There's a question about that, but I want to get to the one that Lauren was asking about, where it's kind of making a hostile work environment. I finally found it. How do you plan to get rid of the squirrel infestation outside of your office?
Okay, well, funny story is the guys 1 year for Christmas built me this really cool bird feeder right outside my window. And they built it all out of FlexLink extrusion, and it's like benzolectin, super cool. And I feed the birds, and I'm the old lady who's like, oh, I like to watch the birds. I'll get my cup of coffee and I'll watch the birds. Well, lately I've had these squirrels that have invaded, and they were climbing in my bird feeder. So yesterday I had my husband, Rhett, who was, bless his heart, really does try to, I came in and I'm like, I've got this idea on how to squirrel proof my bird feeder. Come out here and look at it. And he's in the middle of something. And he's like, really, right now you want me to come and look at it? Yes. I mean, right now, this is critical. This is very important. And so yesterday he stops what he's doing and he squirrel proofs my bird feeder. So now they can't get in it anymore. But, I've been on Amazon trying to find like a squirrel feeder, thinking, okay, well, maybe if I feed the squirrels separately, they'll leave my birds alone. I don't know. I don't have that one worked out yet. If anybody has any suggestions and how I would deal with the squirrels at work and how I might deal with the squirrels at home is different, because I do like them in milk gravy.
Oh, it's good. I've had squirrel before. It's good if you cook it right.
I did grow up on a farm. My grandma fried a mean squirrel and she'd put it with milk gravy, and it was pretty delicious. And so, at the risk of hurting anybody's feelings, because I'm a big animal lover and a big animal rescuer. And so, am I going to eat my squirrels? No. Am I going to fantasize about eating my squirrels? Yeah, probably. I'm not going to eat them. No, I'm on Amazon buying this little squirrel feeder that looks like a bar with bar stools. Yeah, I mean, that's who I am.
That's hilarious.
Why lie about it? That's who I am.
I want to see a picture if they actually
I will totally
in the
text
bar stool. So there's a lot of good questions in the comments. I love this. Is midlife career transition in robotics possible?
Absolutely. Why wouldn't it be?
I've met women on Mavens who made a career change in their 50s because they hated what they did.
Why wouldn't it be? If you like learning, and I love learning, in my spare time I read textbooks, which is weird, I know. But I love learning new things. I love it. And I love a challenge. And if you have any passion for problem solving and for learning, absolutely. Don't let it stop you. Definitely make that career change, because do something you love. Do something that you have a passion about, because life is too short to hate what you do.
I'm trying to get my brother, my oldest, so I'm the youngest of 6, and this is the other bookend of the family. So he's the oldest, I'm the youngest, but he's been in manufacturing his whole life. He's been in the crappy part of manufacturing though. So he does a lot of like manual stuff. And the company he works for is like not the great, it's like the old school authority type, like, I'm not going to respect you, you're just here to hit our numbers kind of thing. So he doesn't have a good opinion about this sector. But I told him, I was like, you should really get involved with like what they're doing in automation and robotics. And I was like, you like working with numbers, so I think you should like maybe take a couple of classes on finance or something and get into that realm of it. Or if you still want to do like, because he does a lot of art work and cartoon stuff, and he didn't really like graphic design back in the day when it was first coming out. But I was like, it's advanced so much.
Things
There's
are
a lot that you can
changing,
do.
you know, careers are changing. But I would say integration is a great place to be. And the reason being, we do something different every day. Rarely do we have the same type of project on the floor back to back. I mean, we're constantly doing something different. It's constantly a new fire to put out. It's constantly a new riddle to solve. I mean, it's challenging because, you know, you're trying to think of ways of doing things that would help make a process faster or better. And it's a great industry because you get to use your brain, you get to use your hands, you get to, you know, it's so rewarding. It's so rewarding at the end of a project or at an FAT to stand there and watch something that you've labored so hard to build work, you know. And I don't know how many of you guys played Mousetrap as a kid, you know, or built you know, I mean, I was always fantasized about, you know, building all of this crap, and to see it on our plant floor. When I walk out on the floor and I see a project and I learn about how it's supposed to work and all of that, I mean, it's such a cool thing. If you don't like mundane, everyday in and out. I mean, I probably wouldn't like to be an operator in manufacturing, although I have so much respect for the people that are holding those roles, because I feel like every role that everybody does is so critical in the whole process. And I think a company is nothing more than a sum of its people. You know, it doesn't matter what kind of company it is. That's what's important. So this is a great time to be in integration. Heck yeah. Change your career. Come and see me for a job. Change your career.
My brother, I feel like, because he's in his 50s, almost mid 50s, so he's 12 years older than I am, but he's just like, what school? And I'm like, but you could go for like probably a year and a half or 2 years, because you have some experience and that counts for something. So like, you just got to figure out what you're passionate about. But he's from that old school train of thought where like, oh, I gotta stick with the company up until I retire. And I'm like, no, you can switch whenever you want.
Well, while I do appreciate that mentality as an employer, and I love having people that have been with us that long, I really like, you know, you got to do what you love, and it's never too late to do what you love and what you have a passion in, because then learning about it is going to fuel you rather than deplete you. And I think that's super important. I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. You know, I mean, I really don't.
I'm trying to make enough money so I can hire him to do my finances, because I don't like math. And I'm like, I need someone to do this for me. So I would rather work with him because I trust him and he's better at math than I am. So I just got to make a little bit more money. Ross Studios asked again, what do you think each generation can bring to the automation industry? So we have the baby boomers, we have Gen X, I can't forget about them. We have millennials, we have Gen Z, right? They're entering the workforce.
We have Gen Alpha. And I think,
is Gen Alpha already old enough to work?
Well, they may not be old enough to work, but they're old enough to be, you know, considered part of the whole thing, because they're coming, right? It's coming. And it's really funny because we have somebody from each generation working here at FlexLine. And so we'll have meetings, and it's just so much fun to see how the different generations have different perspectives of things. And a lot of it falls along the stereotypical lines. I'm not going to lie. You know, my husband solid baby boomer, right? Lauren is a solid millennial, because when it came time to do the TikTok account, she was like, not it, you know? So it's really interesting. But I think every generation brings something to the table. And it's fun to get the different perspectives. And we learn a lot from each other, whether we choose to acknowledge it or we don't choose to acknowledge it. I mean, I'm still learning some of the Gen Alpha, middle schooler language right now. I can do that. What's up, brother? And some of these things. I like to stay relevant, like to stay current, like to be able to, freak out my nieces and other young people with the fact that an old lady can speak some of their language. So I think there's room for everybody at the table. We have to make room for people at the table. We have to respect their perspectives. We have to try to understand their perspectives. I think as a Gen Xer, we've been kind of flexible in trying to see things from different points of views. We're more pivotal. I think we have the ability to pivot, because that's just been our way. Yeah. But I think that, I know we've talked about this before, especially in our industry, and I've said this on other podcasts. And so, if I'm repeating myself, don't stop me, because I like to hear this. We spend a lot of time and money looking at zoo animal enclosures and trying to enrich their habitats. What are we doing for manufacturing habitats? How are we trying to enrich the workplace? And I think younger generations, enrichment's more important to them, because they see the amount of time that they're going to spend working, and they want that to have more meaning and be a more enriching environment. And I think if we're doing that for zoo animals, why shouldn't we be looking at trying to make jobs better and more rewarding? And, and I know I'm all right on the cusp of baby boomers. So the baby boomer of me just cringes at that. I'm like, oh, no, we're here to work. We need to do our jobs and go home. Well, there's some truth to that. We have to have balance. Everything takes a balanced approach, but I do think we have to be aware and open to change always, no matter what we're doing.
I think the days of like working until we die without having fun are coming to an end, just because
I hope so.
No one wants to do that.
No.
Lauren said, well, we are enriching ours with a squirrel feeder.
We are enriching our workplace with that. We're enriching the squirrels' workplace with that.
I'm pretty sure this is the one about the changing your career midlife. I would love to reach out to Cathy, and they also asked how.
Reach out. Go ahead and follow me if you're not already, and send me a message. I have lots of good LinkedIn friends that are in the placement business, and I would be happy to give you a referral. I know people that are always looking to add to their teams. Be happy to give a referral. You know what? I'm just happy to support anybody that wants to give this a try and is willing to step in and get their hands dirty and make that change, because I think it's an important change to make. And so young, old, I don't think gender matters. I don't think any of that matters. What matters is a desire to learn and a desire to just keep learning, because it's not figure this out, go take some classes and this is it. Every day I have to learn something new, and I happen to like that.
I like that too. Carl was talking about mystical Schoolcraft, lots of 2-year degrees out there, instrumentation, robotics, automation. The names change, but it can get one's foot in the door.
Right. There are a lot of community colleges here that offer great programs. But again, you know what? You don't have to be a degreed engineer. You don't have to. I mean, there are roles within companies right now. I can tell you that there's so much available for free online. I mean, almost every robot manufacturer has some sort of online Robot Programming University, Python, you can learn for free online. There are lots of YouTube videos. There is so much self-education that you can take advantage of for free that really would give you a step up. I mean, if you walked in to my office and said, okay, I've completed the online I've completed this online, and, I just want to get my hands on a real robot. I mean, that shows a tremendous amount of initiative. So while I think it's great if you want to take a traditional educational path and go get a degree, go get a certificate, I think that's great. And I support that. But I don't want to limit people who don't want to take that path, because if you are a self-learner and you can go online and complete some of this training and you have some aptitude, companies are going to send you for further training free to you.
Well, so I think one of the things we need to change too is there always seems to be a requirement on job descriptions and yes, some of them are going to need these requirements, but if it's an entry level position, putting the amount of experience on there can be kind of exclusionary, because not everybody's going to come out of college or a trade school with that experience, or you need this type of certification. So if you don't have that certification, does that mean they can't apply, or is it something that they can still apply for?
I can tell you, we look for attitude. We look for somebody that's got a great attitude, that has a willingness to learn, who has some mechanical aptitude. That's important, but a lot of that can be taught and is learned from just working in the industry. And so we don't ever rule anybody out, so I definitely think reach out. If I can't help you personally, I probably know someone who can, and I would be happy to try to make a love connection.
The scariest part in picking a career is hearing the next 40 plus years. Is that not the truth or what? Get that. There are so many young people who fear this. I think people my age fear that too. How do you think this idea can be squashed? What can be brought to the table? That's a good question.
Again, you know what? I didn't, first of all, full disclosure, didn't really pick my career, right? Rhett and I were just married. He was a farmer. I was very happy with him being a farmer, except for he was never home deal. And if you're a farmer's wife, you are a farmer also. So we were doing that, and he got the opportunity to work at a local prison, and he was going to have insurance and paid days off. And I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, we'll actually be able to go to a family holiday as a couple. And this is going to be amazing. Well, in the meantime, his dad had met with an engineering friend of his, and this opportunity to become involved with FlexLink presented itself. And he came over, and I'll never forget, my mother and father-in-law come over, and it was just a few days before Rhett was supposed to leave for training for this new job. And they pitched this idea of starting this company. And I was just like, what? No. And I didn't want to do it. So we did it. And then FlexLine was born. And so, really taking advice from me of being like I was the reluctant entrepreneur. I feel like I was an entrepreneur nonetheless, but it was reluctant, because if I could have, taken this pathway, and also if my husband had gone to work at the local prison, he would have been able to retire at 50. I'm just going to throw that out, honey, in case you were listening. But I mean, you know what, the fun we've had and the challenges. And I mean, if I was given the opportunity to go back and change things now, I wouldn't. Starting a business, building a business is the hardest thing in the world. It's like having a child. It takes the same amount of dedication. It takes the same blood, sweat, tears, all of it. It is not an easy path. It is not. And it never is an easy path. I still have sleepless nights where I wrestle with things, right? I wrestle with decisions, or thinking that maybe I'm not adequate make that decision. I mean, I do have some level of imposter syndrome sometimes because it's like, but now at 40 years in, it's more autopilot than not. A lot of decisions and things that I thought were hard in the early days are now easier. But to go back to the question, it's like, yeah, I don't know that people do things for 40 years anymore. Like when you start a business, you make that commitment and, you're together with it for better or worse until, to whatever happens. And so it's not scary to me because I'm at the end of that 40 years, but 40 years prior, I was reluctant, not going to lie. Definitely. But now I would be happy to share any methods of success, that we've had, especially working in a family business, because as if starting a business and running a business is not hard enough, throw in working with your husband, your child, your son-in-law, your brother-in-law, my in-laws, when they were still here. I mean, it was very challenging. It makes holidays very interesting sometimes, because we have our disagreements. It's a fact. But
yeah.
I mean, I think, again, go back to do things that you love and give it a try. If it's not for you, do something else.
I think there's a lot of pressure on kids when they're in school to have like their life figured out. And I just told my daughter, I was like, I don't want you to make the same choices that I made when I was your age. I want you to do the opposite of what I did, because I didn't know what my passion was until much later on. So I feel like I'm behind where I could have been at this age. So I just
have to do something that feeds your soul.
Right.
You can make all the money in the world, but what's making all the money in the world if, you just hate what you're doing and you're dead inside,
Right.
you have to find things either at work or at home that feed your soul. You have to take time to do that. You have to take time to laugh. You have to take time to enjoy your life. I don't care what occupation you choose. It is very important. That's the most important thing. And so try to find something. I know so many kids are like guided again. Oh, well, you can do this. You'll make the best return on your college investment if you choose this. And I'm guilty of it because I told Lauren, well, you should be an attorney, you should be an accountant, you should be, I'll pay for vet school. Here are the things that I think you should do. And she didn't. She went into marketing and she enjoys it and she's really good at it. And it's been a blessing to the company for her to have that. So, I think you just do what feeds your passion and make that a priority. It is important. I love what I do. I know a lot of the old timers out there doing what we do. We like our jobs. We really do.
Yeah. Yeah. Ross feels, Cathy, does your addiction to Minions get you through the long days?
Yes. And, sometimes when I have a very rough day, you guys can tell this is my peanut gallery harassing me, right? Okay. I do have Minion toys in my office. I don't know. Maybe you can see
I just saw it.
Yeah. See them over there?
Oh, I didn't know you had that many.
No, the minions play with the robots all the time. And I'm just a big kid, right? I'm like the perpetual 12-year-old. I'm just a big kid. Sometimes when I'm stressed, I will play with my minions at my desk. I'm not going to lie. And you know what? I'm not ashamed of it. I'm here to say I'm all about going to see the next Despicable Me movie. I'm all about it.
They're so good, though. They're such good movies. So, and she said they do. It feeds her soul. LOL.
It does. It feeds my soul.
Well,
also, cookies feed my soul. Snacks feed my soul. Donuts feed my soul. Pretty much everything. I mean, you can tell I got a pretty full soul.
To be fair, I think a lot of people in this sector are just kids at heart. They love, it gets them excited to really use their imagination. I believe this is the place where you don't have to stop using your imagination. You can still be a kid and create some of the coolest things out there.
Conveyors can build like erector sets, and we do a lot of Lego things. And I mean, it is. And we are big kids for sure. And have fun. Just have fun. My favorite donut is a white donut with sprinkles. Cake donut, preferably, actually. Or a plain Long John with white icing.
That sounds good. I like the cream-filled donuts, but Dale Parker got me addicted to the,
Oh, that's right. The ones with the bacon on, maple bacon. Okay, I'm gonna strike that, and I'm gonna go with that too. I'm with Megan on that one for sure.
He sent me those in the mail, and I was like, "What is it?" And it was from Dale, and I was like, "What is this?" And my dad was like being nosy, and he goes, "What is it?" And I'm like, and I opened it, and immediately I smelled the bacon. I'm like, he did not send me bacon donuts. And my dad's like, "What?" And I'm like, so I open it, and he goes, "Well, do I get one of those?" And I'm like, "You're gonna love these."
And
So
the
I
answer
gave
is
one.
no, Dad, you do
Yeah.
not.
Well,
Yeah,
he
you got them
was
to
like,
automate for Lauren and I, and they were amazing.
they're so
Amazing.
good. I was handing them out to people because I was like, I cannot walk around with a dozen of these
Oh,
naked.
girl, I'm so envious that you were able to hand them out because they would be stashed in my office about then because, I would be hitting the donuts.
They were so good. Well, Kathy, this was an amazing conversation, and thank you again for being a trooper and joining
Hey,
me for this because
anytime you need filler, girl, we're always happy to talk whatever
yeah,
you want to talk about.
I really love your attitude, and I love your team that you have because you are genuine people, and you call a spade, and you're
Well, you
just
see it, flex
authentic.
lines, what you get, y'all.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So, is there anything else that you would like to say before I let you go? Do you want to do my typical last question where I'm like, if you have an ask for the audience, what would your ask be for them?
I thought maybe you were going to ask me about my role as the sea hag, and you were going to ask for like maybe my sea hag
Oh,
or something like that. For those of
oh,
you that don't know, I'm from Chester, Illinois, which is the home of Popeye. Spent many years playing the voice of the sea hag with a group called the Popeye Players, and we did these live broadcast radio programs. And Lauren just walked in, and so as the voice of sea hag.
She needs to do the laugh. She's
yeah,
got to do the laugh.
I want her to do
Oh gosh,
that.
it's been a while since I've done it. But okay, for all of you and for those of you that might want to follow up on this, I believe there are some recordings out there still available. You might try eBay, or you might try Spinach Can Collectibles, which is the local Popeye Museum. You might be able to get your hands on that, and you're
Well,
not going to embarrass me.
it's gonna be on this recording.
Okay, so here's the laugh. Oh, Popeye.
I love it. It also sounds very similar to the witches laughing Wizard of Oz.
It is. And if you'll watch some of the old Popeye cartoons, you'll see that is the case. But if you're interested in Popeye at all, you can join the Popeye fan club. And also, one of the other recent things that I've been appointed to is the membership committee of A3. So if your company is not an A3 member, you definitely need to be touching base with us so we can rectify that, because we're going to be having another great event coming up in Memphis. And
What event is that?
well, there's I've given it a couple of shares. There's like a couple of gosh, now you're going to put me on the spot. They've tried all this time to do that, to put me with that word on like AMRs and things. But there's also like a membership meeting that will be in January, which is amazing. The keynotes are fantastic. And so if anybody has any questions about A3, Association for Advancing Automation, hit me up and I'll get you connected with the people within A3 that you need to talk to, because if you're not members, you should be.
I need to get more connected with them. They invited me to Automate this year. I was gonna go, but
oh no, you had another engagement. Automate was fantastic, and it's just such a great organization to be a part of. It really, people don't buy from companies, they buy from people. And when you go to Automate, you make friends. I mean, it's like Automate is like a family reunion, and they're just relationships. And when you go to their event in January, it's very open. It's a networking event, and people are so open, and they're not flipping their badges over like, oh, I don't want you to know who I am or what company I'm with. They're engaging. Yeah. We engage with each other and we help each other, because, competition is such an outdated term. Collaboration is where it is, and working together and trying to do that, engage with each other is such a vital part of A3. So I definitely urge you to check it out.
We definitely need to do that. But you're going to IMTS, right? Is that your next show, or do you have a show before that?
We're not going to be displaying at IMTS. We are going to be we're going to be walking the show with our good friend Bridget Davis from Mir. Can't wait for that. We are going to be, our next big show is Pack Expo. And if Lauren hadn't left my office, she could tell you what booth number it is. If you're interested in seeing us there, watch my LinkedIn. I'm sure somebody will tell me what the booth number is at some point when I need to know. And I will I'll put that out there.
Is that in Vegas? Or
it was in Vegas last year. It's going to be in Chicago this year. So
I'm going.
Okay, so we'll plan on seeing you there for sure, which is the other thing I love about this industry. I love the fact that we're friends and that we text back and forth. And I this has been such a great experience, and LinkedIn is such a great community. And if you guys are not taking advantage of LinkedIn as a community, you're doing it wrong.
Right. Absolutely. Well, Cathy, thank you so much again. I really appreciate your time. To anyone who tuned in and asked questions, we have a bunch of comments still rolling in. She said it's 6301 for your booth number at Pack Expo. So be sure to connect with Cathy. Check out FlexMag.
You'll have a good time watching the content.
Do all the things. So, well, thanks everybody. Have a great weekend, and I will see you again next Friday at 11:30 Central Time. Bye, everyone.
All right, bye.
This episode of Mavens has been sponsored by Fresh Horizons Group. Fresh Horizons Group is a family-run company that was founded on the premise of helping organizations and businesses better tell their story through high-quality branded apparel and promotional items. Freshen up your brand by contacting Fresh Horizons today at freshhorizonsgroup.com.